This is Dale Matthews, and I'm here with Mike Jones, and we'll be looking at the new levy that's on the ballot once again coming up this May. They're absolutely sure this time that they've got the right information, and we're all going to gang up and vote together to raise our own property taxes.
Yes. I'm sure things will be different this time.
Totally different.
What is this? This would be attempt number 10. Is that correct?
Attempt number 10. So let's see if I can do it looking straight into the camera, not using any notes at all. I'm really out on the high wire. It happened twice in the year 2000, both on the May special election and also or primary election, and November. That was 2000. Then they had another one on the ballot in 2004. Then and that was actually a double one. Then they had one in 2006. They had one in 2007. They had one in 2008. Then they had one in 2012. And this time they switched over to May. All the rest of them, as you could tell from the years, were tied in with the presidential campaign, except for 7. And then they had one in 13 and one last year in 14 and one again in 15. And they think they've got the idea here because this will be the 4th one now in a row that's in May. I guess what they figured the first time through was we're going to get this through because so many people are going to vote. And then about 4 years ago, they thought, oh, that's not working. Let's switch to less people voting, and then we'll gang up on the polls, gang up on the polling stations, and we'll be sure that it passes. Well, that strategy didn't exactly work.
Yeah, and the odd thing is that the last couple of times they have throughout this thing played around with different amounts that they think might work for this.
Oh, here comes the best part. Tell them, Mike.
The last time, I mean, it was what was the last time? I mean, that was
$1.19.
Okay, but now this new one that they think is going to pass just a year after the other one didn't pass is going to be for even more.
$1.40. There you go. They're brilliant strategists.
Yes.
Now, we're going to show you a piece of tape I think that you'll really like, but I want to mention one of the quotes from the tape. Now, this is from Ariana Rafshani, and she's with KTVL. And she says, and quoting them, "This time is different because they hired a polling firm."
Yes.
Now, Mike, I would submit to everybody that a vote 10 times in a row from the populace is even better than a poll.
Well, I mean, that is a poll in the purest sense. And it's not just a poll of a sample of the people. It is a poll of all of the people who care to vote, who are the only people whose opinion counts, in my opinion.
Oh, but you're missing the boat here. You haven't gotten on board. The people whose opinion counts are the people who are using voter abuse. I voted for this thing 3 times since I moved here. I'm a newcomer at 15 years. The first 3 times I voted for it, and then the 4th time I looked like, this is voter abuse. They've said no. I was on the other side. They've said no very clearly. They've said the reasons why, and I'm hearing the people who I used to support saying, we don't understand the reasons why. They told you why. Well, they're not understanding. No. They're not the ones with the learning difficulty. You that keep bringing this to the ballot every year are the ones that are not learning anything.
Well, and let's just clear something up. They know exactly what they're doing. They don't have any problem figuring this out. They know that it's not wanted. They don't care. They want more money. That's what this is about. They're not stupid. They understand the will of the voters, but there is money to be spent, and the unions want more money, et cetera, et cetera. And listen, some of that is going to ultimately go to public safety and some to the commissioners and all this kind of stuff. However, they know exactly what they're doing. These people are not stupid, and I'm gonna I'm gonna go forward with the idea that they know exactly what they're doing, and they're just lying to me about it.
Now, you've been to many of these meetings, and I've been to some of them too. It's meetings of SOS, securing our safety, and now another group has cropped up with many of the same people, and they're, oh, we're totally different. No, we're not like those other guys. Yeah, okay. However, when SOS people speak, they speak about your effort, and it's difficult to separate the commissioners from SOS. And the commissioners go to the meeting. Sometimes they go to the meeting 2 at a time. That's illegal. They're talking about county business. We've pointed this out to them several times. You are not allowed as county commissioners, blah, 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 to go to meetings where county business is discussed, because then you have to notice it as an official meeting. Oh, that's not right. That's because they do little backroom deals. They've even referred to it as the little backroom themselves. So, well, stop it.
I mean, just people might get sick of this, but I'll just reiterate the fact that I went to SOS for some time. I set up their audio so that everybody could hear everybody in the room, and questioners could walk up to a microphone, and it was all recorded, and I podcasted it in the whole 9 yards. It's mostly county and city employees. They're public employees. And they run all of their campaign operations out of union facilities, and so
they do.
So they have a few people there. There's a few that might I'm sure they have a large mailing list that does not consist of public employees, but for the most part, that is what this is about. And I wouldn't doubt for 1 second that it was spawned, the idea for it was spawned inside the public employee unions, and because they're the ones who are the beneficiaries of all of this money. And so anyway, they're at it again, and there was talk during the campaign that Dave Daniel was one of his largest contributors was the union, and so the saga continues.
One of the things that happened during the last time was that Connie Roach, who is the county assessor, strongly involved with these guys, assessor, property taxes, okay? She said at a meeting I went to, she said, now when you have your ballot initiative papers to get it onto the ballot, you can bring them to the assessor's office in the courthouse and turn them in to me. Now, wait a second, I just had to laugh. I held up my hand and I said, how are you going to keep claiming this is a citizen-driven initiative and has no relationship with county government when the county assessor wants you to turn your papers in to her official office in the courthouse?
Yes. Yeah, well.
Well, that's terrible of you to say. Why, she's not saying she's the head. She just told you this. Now, what does it mean?
Sometimes the veiling is not very veiled.
It slips. Here's another one. Now, this is an important one for people to go take a look at. This is really important. There was a meeting, I'm looking at my notes here. There was a meeting of the Josephine County Commissioners. It's the admin meeting. We've talked about this, the administration meeting on August 7th, 2014, August 7th. The video is called Despite Indignant Denials. That's all you really need to type, although you can go to badcounty.com and find it. But if you type YouTube, Despite Indignant Denials, the May 2015 levy is proven on this video to be government initiated. Now, I'm going to say that again. Sorry to be redundant. Despite indignant denials, the May 2015 levy is proven on this video to be government initiated. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's pretty obvious from the title, but you have Keith Heck sitting up front, and he's talking about gathering information to help write up the levy language correctly. What? Why would county commissioners be doing that? And he says that one of the fellows that works under him, he is the official liaison to them, that guy was tasked. Now, there's not too many people that can task that fellow. I would submit to you the county commissioners can, and certainly the commissioner's liaison can. And he was tasked to gather up the information, to turn it over to SOS or whoever was going to do it, so that they could write up the next levy. Fellows, this is not citizen driven. It's not citizen initiated. I went to the SOS meeting that same night. No, I went to the SOS meeting a couple of days later, because that was a Thursday. And I said, you know, the cat's out of the bag. What do you mean? I told them this, and they all went, oh. Because Keith Heck doesn't always think before he speaks. And what he did was he admitted that this can't possibly be called citizen-driven. The citizens are, some citizens are certainly in tandem with the county.
Oh, listen, I've heard their argument to that, and it is we're citizens too.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So everyone's a citizen, right? I've actually seen the commissioners get up off of their high horse, walk down to the podium at a weekly business session, and walk up to the microphone to speak to themselves, because we're always supposed to look at the commissioners, to make a citizen statement. They can talk for half an hour if they want to, but they're going to take 3 minutes?
Yeah.
No, this isn't working. Come on, you can't keep saying. You may believe, you folks that are pressing for this, that you are in the lead, but we're going to watch this video, and there's a couple things I would like you to see. One is, when we go back to Mike, notice that he's got a green screen behind him. Say something, Mike.
Hello.
Yes, this green screen is so in the future he can do cinegraphic effects. He'll be Mike reporting from space, or Mike in Antarctica. Oh, it's so cold here in Antarctica, and he'll be in
other exotic locations. Yes,
that's exactly right. Okay, I had to mention that. So, please notice that Ariana Rafshani from KTVL says, she starts off with, after multiple failed attempts, Josephine County residents still haven't given up hope. No, wait a minute. Of course we haven't given up hope. We always win this vote.
Yes, but as though the people who voted against the levy don't even exist. They're not the Josephine County residents. Only the people that want the levy are Josephine County residents who still have hope.
After winning the football championship for a decade, every single time they're on the field, the team still hasn't given up hope.
That's right. We're still confident. You know, they keep putting up this weak team against us. You know, what are you going to do?
The thing is, I've said many times, whether the voters are brilliant or lunkheads, they are the voters, and they always say no. And at a certain point, you have to, I think, you have to say, okay, we've heard you.
Right.
And not we've heard you and we're going to do it again, but we've heard you and we're going to find another solution.
Oh, they're just using the same model as the president. He said, you know, you people who voted, I heard you. And for the other 2/3 of the people, I heard you too. And, of course, the clear message there is I'm listening to this 2/3 and not the third that voted. Well, if you didn't vote, by definition, you don't get a vote.
So they haven't given up hope. One other thing to watch for is at the end, there's an extended, I did not extend this, this is not edited by me, there's an extended view of a bench that's out in front of law enforcement, and where Dave Daniel, our new sheriff, is talking about passing this levy this time. Boy, people are gonna vote for it. Why? The title of it is called "Sheriff Thinks People Truly Are Tired of Not Voting for Higher Taxes to Support Law Enforcement."
This has got to be one of the longest video teasers in history here.
But don't forget at the very beginning to look and ask yourself, here's the comedy side of it, if that's not funny enough. Why did Ariana start her story with geese on a lawn? So Mike, play that beautiful bean footage.
Okay.
After multiple failed attempts, Josephine County residents still haven't given up hope to pass a public safety levy.
I think the citizens truly are tired of what's going on here. I think people are tired of the crime. They're tired of the victimization. They're tired of seeing their friends victimized.
But Scott Draper, a member of the grassroots effort Community United for Safety, says this time it's different because now they hired a polling firm.
If you get together with your friends, you'll come to me and say, this is what we all want. But you don't know what everybody in the community wants. So we all have these circles we run in and we say, oh, everybody wants this. And you'll hear that all the time. Oh, everybody wants this. Everybody wants this.
The polls found
they want emergency response, appropriate emergency response. They want patrols in the county. They also want to have the jail at a capacity, working at a capacity that will keep criminals that need to be in jail in jail.
The polls also showed people want to reopen the Juvenile Justice Center to shelter and counsel abused children in crisis. Josephine County Sheriff Dave Daniels says he thinks this measure has a chance of passing this time around.
I really see a movement, if you will, in Josephine County for something better, because I think they're tired of the now.
Covering your news, Ariana Rakshani, News 10.
That ending was priceless. I didn't extend it. It was, they left that up for a long time. That's their 6 o'clock news on Tuesday. God bless America. I agree. Please do. And this is going to get us there for sure.
Well, you know, I mean, the not very well veiled message there is be patriotic, vote for the levy.
That's right. And what's up with the geese? So forget about the geese. Stop asking me about the geese. So here's the thing. Ariana says, well, the polls show this. Now, okay, this is just the journalist part of me. How the heck does she know what the polls show? Did she really look at the polls? It would be better journalism to say, Scott Draper says that this is what the polls show. Unless she's looked at them, she shouldn't be quoting the polls.
And I heard from another reliable source, my wife. She said that they polled like 440 people. I want to know the breakdown, you know, the demographics of that, and you know what people they polled. Is this what questions they asked to get those answers? Because listen, everybody wants more patrols. Everybody wants the jail to be functioning properly. But you ask them if they want to pay for it, and you may get a different answer. So,
well, people may notice here. Just I can't talk while you can. When we go back to you, when you say something, I want people to notice that you're a little right of center. Go ahead and speak.
I am a little right of center.
You are indeed, sir.
Yeah.
But I've always known that about you.
Yes. Well, I may appear to be right of center, although I'm looking in my little monitor, yes, and I'm showing it. Well, it's because this is a radio microphone. Unless you're on it, you're off of it over here. And
you sound so good. You really do. And you notice I've sort of changed my political view here.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
I'm a little left of center. Well, look, here's the thing. They go out and they spent, I hope I have this number right, something like $20,000 to hire this polling firm. This is a very strange polling company because it gave them exactly the feedback that they wanted, and it wasn't just a poll. I mean, these were polls that said the same thing I've been telling them, and you've been telling them, and other people have telling them. Of course, we want these things, but I'm not going to vote for anything that leaves the commissioners in any kind of driving seat. I don't even care if it's one of those, like the fire engines with the driver guy way in the back with the hook. I don't want them in it, because the commissioners said, let's keep this purposely vague. When they said that, that was it for me, buddy. I'm not. Keep it purposely vague. They said it in a public meeting.
Well, and some other information about this polling firm. Apparently, they were the ones involved in, after 13 consecutive attempts to pass a levy in Lane County.
Now, I'm going to stop you for a second.
Okay.
It's not 13 consecutive attempts. It's 13 victories for the voters.
Okay, all right. Well, but the point is that this firm was instrumental somehow in finally getting victory for the levy.
Now, what the heck kind of polling firm, if they're a legitimate polling firm that's supposed to feed back to you whatever the facts are, how is a polling firm involved in then swaying public opinion?
Oh, really? Polls are quite often done for that purpose. They ask people leading questions, they get the answer they want, and then they report the poll as news.
This is not a poll. This is trying to manipulate the public opinion by coming up with...
They're a consulting firm, is what they are.
Right. And you pay them for the answer that you want.
That's right.
And that's what that's what they mean. There was 13 times in a row that the citizens were totally victorious, and then we were finally able to defeat the citizens and beat them at their own game.
Right. So you take the poll, you get the answer you want, you report it as news, thereby manipulating public opinion to favor your objective.
It sounds like, well, I'm not going to say it's a conspiracy, but it sure does sound like it is. It's a preconceived notion that this is going to happen. Now, if you got your piece of paper, I'm going to tell you again what that video is that you should take a look at. We'll put a link on this video to it also, but you do need, in my opinion, to take a look at this video, and it's called, what is it called? Oh, it's called Despite Indignant Denials. Now, if you type YouTube, Despite Indignant Denials, in quotes, you will go to this where there's Keith Heck. I mean, look, Keith Heck is not saying, oh, let's put one over on the public, let's lie to them here, and saying this on videotape. That's not the way this stuff works. But you can see for yourself that he's talking about how they're gathering up information to give it over to SOS or whoever's going to put this on the ballot, and then they'll all be ready to pass this new levy.
Indeed.
Well, we've informed people a little bit about what's coming up. I had somebody call me just today, and he said, I was driving by the Daily Courier, and I see real close to the Daily Courier there's a fellow sitting out there supposedly gathering petition signatures for the, and please tell me, please Dale, tell me this is not petition signatures for a new levy. And yes, of course it is. Now, here's the article, by coincidence, that joins that, because these fellows are right next to the Courier building. So guess what? The Courier goes over and takes a picture of them. And then the Courier story says, this measure is community and business leader driven and put forth by citizens. And then Scott Draper says, I am confident that this will provide what people want in law enforcement. And he also says, it's amazing writing that ends up being the facts in writing. And this, now we're talking about Cliff Thomason, who's a nice enough guy, and Cliff Thomason says this is the first time no wait, I gotta start again. This is the first time for this kind of levy.
Yes. We've never had a levy like this. This levy comes with this, that, and the other thing, and wait, there's more.
what are we going to do?
Yeah.
You need to be sure to vote, and or else they're going to keep pressing this on us, even if we do vote.